Good evening. Welcome to the September 26th regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners. And tonight we have Father Papa Giorgio going to lead us in invocation, followed by Firefighter Kevin Holt, the Pledge of Allegiance. So those who are willing to stand for invocation, please do so.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. O Heavenly King, comforter, the Spirit of truth, present in all places and filling all things, the treasure of blessings and the giver of life, come and dwell in us and cleanse us from every stain and save our souls, a good one. Holy God, Holy Mighty, Holy Immortal, have mercy on us. Holy God, Holy Mighty, Holy Immortal, have mercy on us. Holy God, Holy and Mighty, Holy Immortal, have mercy on us. We offer thanksgiving to you for all your gifts and blessings. We humbly come to you and ask that you may send down upon us your heavenly Spirit to enlighten our hearts and minds. Give us your wisdom and knowledge. Help us to know your will for your people whom we serve. Guide us in all our decisions to do what is best for them. Help us to shine with your love and compassion. Grant us your peace and your love. For glorified is your name, of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, now and always, and unto the ages of ages. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father. And Father Papa Giorgio is from the Holy Transfiguration Greek Orthodox Church. And Firefighter Holt is from Station 12, the Alpha Shift. Okay, before we start with the first tab, I'd like to make a motion to add a non-agenda item to tab 6, consent agenda item 24.
Second.
We have a second, and just let me give you a brief idea. This is a recommendation to authorize a settlement of a workers' compensation claim for Tim Hamby pursuant to the direction within the terms discussed in executive session on September 25th, 2017, and further authorize Human Resources Director and the Workers' Compensation Administrator to execute the necessary settlement documents. Any discussion? Call the question? Passes 5-0. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, we have a number of great presentations tonight. So the first one, I get the honor of asking for Karen Carter and her board to come forward, please. Well, Karen Carter is the Executive Director of the Cobb Collaborative, and we have various members of the board here. Matter of fact, I'll let you identify yourselves after I read the proclamation. Is that okay with you all? Okay, great. Whereas the Cobb Collaborative is a membership consortium of nonprofit organizations, local governments and their agencies, businesses, faith-based organizations, educational institutions, professional organizations, associations, and residents that has strived to improve the quality of life in Cobb County since 1997. And whereas the organization works to provide, share, and leverage ideas, expertise, and resources among more than 100 members in order to strengthen nonprofits to address community needs. And whereas the Cobb Collaborative further accomplishes its work by sponsoring strategic policy councils through which stakeholders work to affect change. It is the local partner for the Georgia Family Connection Partnership and is dedicated to working toward measurably better outcomes for all children, families, and communities by networking and connecting with all 159 partners across the state. And whereas the collective impact of our nonprofit organization builds a strong foundation for creating a sustainable community in Cobb County, our community also benefits from the cumulative financial investment of $21.1 million made through a nonprofit grant program that the collaborative administers and manages. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Cobb Collaborative. We encourage everyone to support the organization and its members to ensure people, resources, programs, and funding are combined in ways that will continue to provide comprehensive solutions to all local issues. This 26th day of September, 2017. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And would you like to let your board members identify themselves?
I would.
You can make a comment.
I can. Actually, I'm going to defer to my board members, but before we do that, the collaborative, as they said, has been around since 1979 in some form or fashion, but a registered nonprofit now for 20 years. And that couldn't have happened without the woman standing directly to my left, the matriarch, if you will, of the Cobb Collaborative. So I'm going to turn this over to Jerry Barr.
Good evening, Jerry Barr. I'm with the Center for Family Resources, and I am the founder of the Cobb Collaborative.
Hello, my name is Darian Dunn, a board member.
Dan Zockman, board member.
Sabrina Watson, board member.
And Chris Fields, board member.
They're just so humble. They are so much more than board members. They are the constant support in actually running the organization day to day. So on behalf of board members that couldn't be here, our member organizations, and those that we support within the community, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to continue to serve the county in this capacity. And we look forward to many more years and decades of that service. So thank you very much.
Jerry, congratulations. Thank you. Appreciate you coming up. Thank you, sir. You bet. Thank you. Thanks for coming tonight. Thank you, sir. You bet. Congratulations, all of you. All right. All right. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
That's you. She's not here. We're moving down.
We'll delay it to later. And Commissioner Weatherford now has two presentations to make.
Thank you. As you might can tell from the back of the room, we have a lot of public safety personnel tonight. Next month is Public Safety Awareness Month in Cobb. And the first presentation we have is to 911, and I'd like Destiny Davidson, the 911 director, and her people to come forward. More are coming. Many of us take for granted public safety in Cobb County. We do not realize what a great team we have, and tonight we're going to honor that team in several ways. First, we're going to start with 911. Cobb County 911 just received its 6th gold standard recreditation for CALEA, which is Commission for Accreditation of Law Enforcement, and it's a great achievement. So I want to read the proclamation, let them say a few words, and then we have Representative CALEA here to talk about it as well. So, the Cobb County Department of Public Safety E911 Communications Department is composed of 128 employees dedicated to providing an effective channel of communication between the community and Cobb County first responders. Department staff is committed to attaining the highest national standards of excellence in an effort to best protect life and property. And whereas the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, Inc. was created in 1979 as an accrediting agency through cooperative efforts of law enforcement and executive associations, CALEA sets a gold standard and provides benchmarks for agencies to promote the highest delivery level of public safety services. And whereas in July of 2002, the Cobb County E911 Communication Department was the first agency in the state of Georgia to receive such accreditation. And since then, it's completed 6 times very successfully, the most recent on July 29th. And as a result of this extensive preparation combined with continued commitment to exceeding recognized national standards of excellence, the Cobb E911 Communication Department was selected by the commissioners of CALEA to receive the Certificate of Meritorious Accreditation 6th Award Gold Standard. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do recognize and honor the Cobb County Department of Public Safety E911 Communications Department. Receiving this 6th award is a testament to all the dedicated employees who are committed to excellence and professionalism in the service delivery to this community, the 26th day of September 2017. Let's give them a great big hand. Director, would you say a few words and introduce everyone for us?
Thank you very much. This is Kathy Strickland. She's our CALEA Accreditation Manager. This is Vince Darrow. He's the CALEA Manager for the Southeastern United States. We have Jessica Parrott, who's our CAD Specialist. Sharman Orsi, Assistant Director. Sabrina Woodall, my Administrative Specialist, who helps keep me straight every day. Todd Borowski is one of our training coordinators. And then Chris Ledbetter, who's our CAD Manager. And I believe Vince has some words he'd like to say.
Please, yes.
Do you want me to grab the word?
No, I think I may drop some papers. On behalf of the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, the Commission Chair, Chief Richard Myers, and the Executive Director, W. Craig Hartley, I want to extend my sincere appreciation for you allowing me to come over here and to give this award. We're among friends, as another accredited agency is represented well in the back. So it's always nice to see friends around. As the Commissioner said, CALEA was created in 1979 by 4 agencies: the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Association of Black Law Enforcement Executives, the National Sheriff's Association, and the Police Executive Research Forum, because they recognized a need within the law enforcement community to develop a set of professional standards to enhance the delivery of public safety services to citizens throughout the communities they serve. CALEA is the only internationally recognized accrediting body in existence, and we serve Canada, Mexico, and Barbados in addition to the United States. Since its inception, CALEA has accredited over 1,000 agencies under the standards developed by many of the best practitioners in our country. Gaining internationally accredited status is a distinction held by very few. There are over 18,000 law enforcement agencies in our country alone. There are only about 5% of those agencies that reach a CALEA accreditation. There are also over 5,800 primary public safety answering points, commonly referred to as 911 centers in the U.S. There are only 95 of those accredited in the entire United States. As the Commissioner said, this was the first agency in this state accredited. So that's about 1.6% of the agencies. Many agency heads are very reluctant to have outsiders come in and review their work, review their administrative processes, and detail any faults or any problems that they have. They must be open to change to prove that they're doing the right thing in conducting business in a way that commits or does contemporary standards. Director Davidson thinks otherwise. She thinks that CALEA accreditation minimizes her agency's exposure to liability and guarantees professional management practices. In practical terms, she believes it confirms their commitment to excellence in the provision of public safety services. So based on the goals and mission of CALEA, I can think of no better time than to present this to the community and to the governing body and to the agency in a very public meeting of the commissioners, where everybody can understand just how much hard work this is. On March 26 through 29, 2017, 2 professional assessors visited the Cobb County 911 Emergency Communications Center. They reviewed their agency's applicable files, activities, functional impacts, and management strategies. They determined the agency's compliance with all applicable standards. They also noted the agency's commitment to the accreditation process. It's clearly evident, and the agency members were very professional and dedicated to serving their community. They spoke with executives and members of the area public safety community. They praised the work of this agency, striving for this achievement. They all stressed that the collaboration between the people standing up here and the other agencies is exceptional, extremely positive, especially in the area of technology and interagency communications. They found the agency's personnel were proud to be members of the Cobb County 911 communications staff. They were reflective of a professional attitude with a high sense of service to the community. At the commission meeting held in Providence on July 29, 2017, the commissioners reviewed the assessor's report, concurred with their findings, and unanimously voted to reaccredit the agency. As the commissioner said, this is their 6th award for public safety communications accreditation. So at this time, I would like the director and the accreditation manager, Kathy Strickland, to allow me to read the certificate and present it to you on behalf of CALEA. And of course, this could not have happened without everybody in this room, with the governing body supporting the agency, the citizens supporting the agency, and surrounding agencies working as well. So if you'll hold this, I'll go get that. Well, we're international, so that's why. It says, be it hereby known that the Cobb County, Georgia 911 Emergency Communications, having fully demonstrated its voluntary commitment to public safety communications excellence by living up to a body of standards deemed essential to the protection of the life, health, and safety of both the citizens and public safety officers it serves, and having exemplified the best professional practices in the conduct of its responsibilities, is hereby, upon the recommendation of the members of the commission, awarded this certificate of meritorious accreditation, effective on the 27th day of July 2017, and is recognized as an accredited public safety communications agency for a period of 4 years. And this is their 6th award under the gold standard process.
Wow. All right. Let's get it. Might want to hold this one on that end.
Squeeze on in like Three, two, one. Thank you.
Let's give them a great hand. That's amazing, isn't it? Less than 1%. Thank you. I'm still up here. Next, we have another dedicated group of individuals from public safety, our Cobb County Explorer Unit. Can I have them and their advisors come forward, please? This is fine look. Well, it got kind of bad at the end, but it's a fine-looking group coming up. This is our Cobb County Explorer Unit. They competed in state competition and just won their 9th state championship. Let's give them a big hand. Why don't you tell us, Officer Higgins, a little bit about it and what they do and the program and all that, please?
All right, for young people between the ages of 14 to 21 that aspire to do law enforcement or maybe even military, these kids train every week, every Thursday. They train very hard. We have great leadership from their chief right here. We put together scenarios that officers would go through on a daily basis, and then they're judged by other departments. And then it's an overall score, and then, like he said, we are the 9th straight state champs. A little bit about the kids up here. Like I said, they train very hard. But our ultimate goal is not just trophies. It's a mentorship for these kids. Officer O'Hara has joined our program as our female advisor, and we just try to train them and then help them through their teenage years when they're having troubles, kind of keep them on the straight and narrow. We want to see them exceed in life, just not as an explorer. So we look forward to our meetings with them and our competitions that we have, and then we like to watch them as they grow up and move on to better the community.
Great. We have certificates for everyone here tonight. I'm going to let you hand them out in just a minute. I just want to let you know there's no pressure, but I've already drafted the 10th award for next year, so you've got to bring it home, okay? All right.
I told him if we win 10, I'm going to get him rings. So, Corporal Jennifer Teniente. This is Lieutenant Leah Barton. She is she's also the Vice National Youth Representative for the nation. Last July, she was voted on at the conference we had, and she is the first representative from the state of Georgia to ever win this title. She travels around the nation doing speeches and meeting with other posts and other community events across our country, and we're very proud to have her represent us in that. Private Samuel Babler. Sergeant Omar Lopez, he is the Regional Vice President for Atlanta for Explorers. Corporal Chandler Quigley. Corporal Ben Ringenberg. Corporal Edgar Cabrera. And Chief Salman Khan.
Quite an accomplishment, isn't it, for our young people? This is what America's all about. We're very proud of them. We've got our chiefs and deputy chief up here as well. I'm sure you're as proud as they are about all of this. So congratulations. Let's give them one more round of applause. Scrunch in. They're going to take a picture.
All right, certificates to the front, please. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
All right, another great group. All right, one last presentation. As I mentioned earlier, next month is Public Safety Month in Cobb County. And so tonight, we have quite a representative of public safety, as you can see here. So what I'd like when we read the proclamation, I'd like representatives of Cobb PD, Cobb Fire, 911, our Sheriff's Department, and we also honor to have both our ambulance services represented. So if you would all come forward, please. Come on. And our safety village. I'm so sorry. I forgot about that. Yes. Help me out. And animal control. Is there anybody else? All right, I want to see Ross get a picture of all this. Wow. Lieutenant, we don't got room for you. I don't know about all of you, but I feel very, very safe. And I'm also very, very proud. We've had 2 awards already with accreditation, and what you don't sometimes realize is how impressive our public safety in all aspects is in this county. It's the best there is. Everybody looks at us as the envy of certainly the state, if not the Southeast, so extremely proud. So we, the Board of Commissioners, are going to give you a presentation. Cobb County public safety personnel are sworn to protect the citizens and visitors of our community and have a superior reputation for excellence. And the men and women of public safety are selected, trained, and entrusted to be the peacekeepers and guardians of our community. They're the first to respond during a crisis, often placing their own lives in harm's way in the performance of their duties. And since 2005, Cobb County Police has remained one of the only 5% of law enforcement agencies nationally accredited with the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, CALEA, as you heard earlier. Since 1997, as you heard, the department has been certified by the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police, an achievement only 19% of law enforcement agencies in Georgia have. CALEA just honored the 911 Center with accreditation with excellence. Only 1% of the centers nationally have this distinction. In 2005 and 2011, Cobb County Fire achieved accreditation Commission on Fire Accreditation. Less than 1% of fire departments nationwide have this accreditation. And the Cobb Sheriff's Office is a leading law enforcement agency. Sheriff Warren was selected as Georgia's top sheriff in 2014, and the agency was selected as state top government organizations for supporting employees that serve in the military reserves and National Guard. The Sheriff's Office provides tactical operations support for Cobb municipalities and Cobb County Police Departments, protects the court systems, operates the detention center, and acts on over 60,000 civil and criminal warrants each year. 60,000. The Cobb County Safety Village opened in 2009 and to date has provided educational programs to over 155,000 students. The Safety Village also provides educational programs to senior adults, scout groups, and students with special needs. The Safety Village education team provides home safety visits, installs smoke alarms for those in need, and participates in corporate Cobb business programs. Firefighters continue to provide educational programs in school settings and at community events. The Police Athletic League was started in 2010 as a nonprofit focusing on juvenile crime prevention through athletic and recreational activities. Annually, this program has nearly 400 youth participating in various camps. Participants are involved with police officers in an environment that instills trust and community collaboration. And whereas Cobb County remains committed to having the best trained state-of-the-art equipment and superior resources, thus maintaining these high standards of excellence that our residents expect, Public Safety Appreciation Week is an opportunity for the community to show our gratitude and respect for their service, bravery, and dedication. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, join the Cobb Chamber of Commerce in declaring October 2 through 8, 2017 as Public Safety Appreciation Week, and we encourage all residents to unite with us as we honor the work of our brave men and women of public safety as they protect and serve us in our community this 26th day of September, 2017. Congratulations, and proud of all of you.
Yeah, there's no way I'll introduce everybody. I'll just say that although he read a lot, this is a tip of the iceberg of what these men and women do every single day. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our two ambulance services are also accredited agencies, and that's unusual in today's public safety world as well. So you truly have the best of the best team, and this is just Cobb County. Within Cobb, we also have 6 cities that have their own police departments, and some of them with their own fire departments and 911 centers. So I would like to say thank you to the board for the support that y'all have always shown public safety, as well as the county manager, and but most importantly to the citizens that we serve every single day. You're the reason we're here. We're here for you, and there's no other way in the world, nowhere else in the world can you dial 3 magic numbers and have somebody at your beck and call in a matter of minutes. So with that, to these men and women and all of them that are out there that couldn't be here tonight, just thank you for everything that y'all do every single day. Thank you.
Great. Good luck, Ross.
Sideways, sit down, stand up. All right, sir. 3, 2, 1. That's most of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys.
Good evening, everyone. If I could have Miss Deanne Bonner and Jareen and family members and friends to come up for a minute, we have a special surprise for you tonight. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Thank you. We're here tonight to honor this fine lady, Deanne Bonner, who is just retiring after 20 years of service to the NAACP. She has served this community tirelessly, and I have a feeling that even though she says she's retiring, she did before and came back, so she'll still be around. But we just want to recognize you, wish you a happy birthday, belated birthday, and the chairman and Commissioner Cupid are going to read a proclamation for you.
I'll tell you what, Commissioner Cupid, why don't you read it? All right?
Here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You want to get here? Sure. We're honored to have you tonight, Deanne. Tonight, whereas Deanne Bonner has been a resident of Marietta and an important part of Cobb County since 1971. She has been a member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People since 1960 and a Diamond Life member since 1980. Bonner has served as president of the Cobb County chapter of the NAACP for 20 years. Under her excellent leadership, the organization has been very active in our community, both politically and academically. And whereas some of the Cobb NAACP's accomplishments under Bonner's guidance include the annual education forum, robust voter registration, informative political forums, and productive initiatives with local school, police, and civic organizations. The Afro-Academic Cultural, Technological, and Scientific Olympics has also been implemented. And whereas as a way to ensure continuous improvements in our school systems, Bonner oversees the Cobb County NAACP's monitoring of city and county school systems as part of the ongoing civil rights suit with the Department of Education. Under her leadership, the organization has also formed many beneficial partnerships with local churches and groups. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby honor Mrs. Deanne Bonner for her tireless efforts to ensure liberty, equality, and justice are available for all of our Cobb County residents. The bonds she has built over the past 20 years as president of the Cobb County NAACP will continue to have positive impacts for generations to come. This, the 26th day of September 2017. Thank you so much for all you have done for us.
Yes, I certainly want to share some words. You all, let me just say to everybody in this room, tonight the NAACP have our general membership meeting. We meet the fourth Tuesday of the month. We're at our office at 6:30 this evening doing a general membership meeting. I'm presiding at this meeting. Ms. Grimes said, oh, wait, we got to go to Cobb County Commissioners. They just decided that we had to come up here. I said, that's right. They're talking about them flex buses. We got to go up there and make sure, we got to make sure that we keep those buses because of the people that ride the bus. So I'm normally looking a lot better than I'm looking right now. I'm telling you, I love y'all. I mean, you know that the partnership that we have established with Cobb County has just been something that has made what we do in Cobb County a win-win for all of us citizens here in Cobb County. These people here that help run the Cobb NAACP, I want to really say thank you for all that you do, because you know the accolades should be spread around evenly, because you all do as much as I do to make Cobb what it is. So, Chairman Boyce, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your transparency and your leadership that you've started here in Cobb County. Joanne is my representative. I live in her district. And every time I see her, I said, you know, you need to give me something to do in your, in your, you know, something to do. So I guess now the debt is paid, and I am thank you, Commissioner, my sister in the struggle. Always, I appreciate you, and you know that. So.
You want to introduce yourself?
Okay, yes, okay. We're grooming new leaders, and here are some of the younger folks, so us old folks can go sit down.
My name is Darrell Wilson Jr. Some of you may know my father, Darrell Wilson Sr. Okay, I'm sorry, we're not. All right. I'm on the Board of Elections, and I got there because of Ms. Bonner, and you know, a member, the executive member of the NAACP chapter of Cobb County. And pass it on to Jareen.
I'm Jareen Grimes. I'm that other Miss Bonner, and I am a life member of the NAACP. And a Marietta School Board member.
Hi, my name is Doris Dawkins, member of NAACP, and also City Councilwoman for this beautiful city of Powder Springs, Georgia.
Good evening, I'm Monica Delancey. I almost gave the secret away. I kept on saying, I'm so glad you're here, and I was told it was a secret. But congratulations again, Ms. Bonner.
Amanda Robinson, member of the Cobb NAACP. Learned a lot from Ms. Bonner. Live in Marietta.
I'm Margaret Jones. I'm a life member of the NAACP, and I'm a resident here in Marietta, and I'm still learning.
Good evening. My name is Ted Porter. I'm a subscribing member of the Cobb County branch NAACP.
Hello again. Yeah, thanks for doing this. Good to see you again. How are you? Good. That's right. Mama's happy now. Mama's happy again. Hey, Monica.
He's trying to get it.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm the end of voice.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, everybody, both of the board and to the members of the community that were here tonight. Maybe now we have Dana Johnson from the Community Development with our first public hearing. And Dana, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dana Johnson, Cobb County Community Development. Here to
ask you to please open the first public hearing on the September-October 2017 Code Amendment Cycle. This is Code Book number 5 for 2017, and we'll go through a brief presentation of what's contained in the book. All of these changes are either commissioner proposals or staff recommendations for consideration for these amendments. It covers Chapter 54, which is fire prevention, 78, which is license and permits, Chapter 86, which is offenses and miscellaneous provisions, 106, which is streets, sidewalks, and other public places, 118, which is traffic and vehicles, and lastly, 126, which is ambulances. Getting into the particulars of the code changes. In Chapter 54-102 is a section on alarm systems, fire alarm systems. And this particular one, if this code is approved, then it would prohibit fire alarm systems from being in bypass mode in occupied structures unless there is a fire watch or standby personnel available to monitor the particular area. On Chapter 78, which is license permits, it's 78-66, the temporary consumer fireworks retail stands. This is just making it clear that if you have a temporary fireworks stand, that you must obtain a temporary business license. You're not considered a peddler under our ordinance of provisions, and that we are asking that you provide notice, or requiring that you provide notice, that to show the times when fireworks can be legally ignited in the state of Georgia. Chapter 86, we have 86-7, which is vehicle immobilization devices. And this is just making it clear, and this is kind of a companion one that goes along with another one that we'll see later on in the code book. But this one would make it where if a vehicle, right now, booting a vehicle in Cobb County is illegal. But this would make it legal if it's done in an area where a parking meter district is approved by the Board of Commissioners. On Chapter 106, this is streets, sidewalks, and other public places. This is some tweaks to our street lighting district. This is Chapter 106-26, 106-48, and 106-69. 106-81 and 106-82. What's contained in here are some clarifications on some of the definitions for streetlight districts. There's some information here about the creation of streetlight districts, particularly as it relates to CIDs. The Town Center CID is trying to create a streetlight district. They want to do it a little bit different than how the Cumberland CID has done it. So we're putting a tweak in here to our code to help accommodate that. Under the administration portion, it's allowing the Board of Commissioners to dissolve, merge, or reconfigure existing streetlight districts. Again, this is to go along with the request by the Town Center Community Improvement District, because they'll need to merge a number of different streetlight districts in order to create their overarching one for more decorative streetlights in their area. And lastly is 106-82, which is the small cell communications equipment. This is just to clarify that if an individual company would like to obtain the rights to put their small cell technologies on county infrastructure light poles, that they would be required to go into and enter into a master right-of-way agreement for many cells with the Board of Commissioners. The board has already approved one of these type of agreements with one company. This is clarifying that any other company who wished to do the same would need to go through a similar process to what the previous company had done. Also in 106, we deal with some similar changes to the pedestrian streetlight district. Again, just some definition changes. A similar change as it relates to how you create them within community improvement districts, and then the same language as it relates to small cell communications equipment. I'm not going to repeat myself since you had just heard me describe that. It's just the same language included in another section of the code. Under Chapter 118 is the traffic and vehicles. This is a new section, 118-158, for parking meters. And this would create a standardized process for how parking meter districts could be approved in unincorporated Cobb County. They would need to make application, go through a formal process that provides details about how much, when, where, and so forth and so on, and then provide the opportunity for the board to agree to create that parking district. And lastly, in chapters 126 is the vehicles for hire ambulances section of the code. As it's currently written, there is a alteration to reduce the number of ambulance zones from five to 2, and then some minor clarifications that the county attorney and public safety have worked on in order to just make sure the code is clear as it relates to how this particular ordinance is administered. No large technical changes involved in that. So with that, I would ask if the board would please open the first of 2 mandatory public hearings. The second public hearing will be on October the 24th. After that, the board may take action on any of the amendments contained here.
Hey, thank you, Dana. So I just want to remind everyone that you have 3 minutes to address the board on this topic. And there's no limit to the number of speakers. So with that, I declare this public hearing open on the for comments regarding proposed amendments to chapters 54, 78, 86, 106, 118, and 126 of the county code. Do I have anybody like to step to the microphone and make a comment? Okay. And if you just let us know who you are and where you live, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Randall Bedgood, and I live in West Cobb. I didn't know there was going to be a public hearing on this tonight. I came about something else. What I'm concerned about is the boots. I haven't read the ordinance, but I'd like to know if there's a set price on what they're going to charge if they boot your vehicle. We had a problem. I live in the county, but I know Marietta had a real problem with those boots. They were really abused. And so I'd like to see a reasonable fee set, maybe $35.
Yeah, that's a great question. Dana, do we have a fee associated with this, or is this just a proposal to set it up, and then we'll set the fee later?
Right now, booting is illegal in Cobb County. So there is no fee associated with it. It's just not an action that we would allow. It depends on how the parking meter district would be run. If the county would run it, we would need to set a fine for it. If the county is going to outsource it, we would need to incorporate what that fine would be in whatever agreement we create with the parking company to manage that. And I'm looking to the county attorney to see if that is an accurate statement.
The other part is that in October, the board is going to be provided with a list of fees and services, and perhaps this will be one of the issues addressed. So the answer right now is no, we don't. But what I would like you to do is if you just go ahead and stay in touch with me. As soon as I know something, I'll get back to you with an answer, okay?
Yeah, the other problem I had with that is it looks like you're going to be able to create your own parking lot with your own, you had the picture of the parking meter there. And I guess that's where people come in and you got a private parking lot, maybe down around the Braves or somewhere, and you stick $1 or whatever the fee is in there. And then they got the right to boot your car. And that's the thing that concerns me right there, is if somebody gets in there and for some reason they get booted and they come back to their car and then they find out they got to pay $250 to get somebody to come out and take the boot off. Sure. And that's exactly what was happening in Marietta. It just got to the point where it was just I didn't ever get booted there, but I worked for a company. I worked for a public utility at the time, and we had to park vehicles, and he would actually boot our vehicles. We were over there servicing whatever they had to do,
I think Commissioner Ott has an answer for your question.
And I know you say you hadn't read the code, but basically, and this is what Dana talked about earlier, was the fact that the two are associated. Booting, as he said, is illegal in the county. So somebody a private property owner who has parking meters or whatever cannot boot your car. The only place that booting would be allowed would be where a parking meter district was created, which would be county owned.
Okay, it would only be county owned parking meters.
Right, but what has to be associated with a parking meter district.
Okay, so not
So,
a private parking lot couldn't do
right,
this?
couldn't do it because it would still be
Okay, that's
illegal.
what I was concerned about. But still, I would like to see, even if the county's gonna do it, it'd be a reasonable fee. It wouldn't be something that's gonna be outrageous.
Right, and I think basically, I mean, it's going to only be a few places right now that there would be a parking meter district, and I think when it comes forward, that'll definitely be, you know, because the board is well aware of what happened here in Marietta.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir.
Would anyone else like to address the board? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name's Matt Southwell. I'm from Kennesaw. On the parking meter districts, I heard, excuse me, I heard mention of the possibility, seemed like a theoretical possibility, but possibility nonetheless that these could be managed by outside parties, outsourced parking enforcement companies. And I'd just like to remind you guys of the parking situations that the city of Atlanta has experienced with outsourced parking enforcement. There's been a lot of complaint over the years, specifically focused on Park Atlanta and the mismanagement and questionable fines that they had issued. And I think we would all feel a lot more comfortable if these districts were managed by local officials who are accountable to the local community rather than making a profit for someone outside of Cobb County.
Good point. Thank you. Would anybody else like to comment on these proposed code amendments? Sure, come on up.
My name is Richard Grossman. I'm from Clarkdale. It's more of a question. What is the reason from going from 5 ambulance districts to 2?
I'm sorry. You read my mind. You should have been here yesterday.
Okay.
I had the same question, but I think we have an explanation right here from Commissioner Rott. And,
All right.
and Director Heaton will back him up.
We're not really going from 5 to 2. There are 2 in the county right now. There have been 2 in the county for a while because that's what the state has designated. What's happening here is basically the county's coming and cleaning up the code so that it matches the real world. We only have 2. It says there's 5 in the code. There really are not
okay.
5. So there's only 2. They're all covered. And so basically the code is being written to match.
To match what's really there?
Yes.
Okay.
And what the state requires.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to comment on the proposed amendments? Yes, ma'am.
Did you tell Morning that we missed her this afternoon? We were over at Hyde this afternoon.
Good. My name's Morning Washburn. I live in the Mount Bethel community of East Cobb. And I have not read these proposals for the lighting districts, but I do know that I have concern for light pollution. It's a worldwide phenomenon. Certainly we have an abundance of artificial lighting, so I ask that consideration be given to the design of any lights that are installed in lighting districts. I can furnish information to you from various of research that's been done that shows we can harm ourselves and by having too much light at night. And so there are efficient designs for directing light where it needs to be, not scattering it throughout the night.
As you well know, we see considerable citizen input before we establish the light district. So I think that we don't do anything in this county without giving the public the opportunity to help us do it better and cheaper. Anyone else like to make comments about the proposed agenda items or amendment items? Okay, seeing none, I declare this public. Okay, now we're going to go down the board here. Unless Commissioner Burrow has a question.
Yeah. Dana, on the streetlight district, this is just for the town center area, or will it be inclusive of everywhere, even though we already have?
The majority of the
streetlights?
changes contained in here are geared towards the town center CID. The Cumberland CID already has a street light and a pedestrian light district.
Right.
And
So does
and the
Canton
reason
Road
why
and-
those are a little bit different is that they have the funds where they can go in on public right of way and install these type of fixtures.
Okay, but they're pedestrian streetlights. They're,
They could do both, ma'am.
that's both, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Ott?
I think we covered them.
Commissioner Cupid? Okay. All right, thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Public comment. And how many speakers do we have tonight?
There's 6 signed up.
6, all right. So,
The first speaker is Monica Delancey.
okay, I just want to remind everybody, you have 5 minutes at the podium. So, Monica, please.
Good evening. My name is Monica Delancey. I reside in Austell in the Riverside community. I've come to you before you many times wearing many different hats, no pun intended. Speaking about schools, workforce development, need for more resources for our nonprofit, as well as today, I'm still addressing the housing crisis here in Cobb County. The housing crisis that's here in Cobb County is affecting renters in Smyrna, Marietta, East Cobb, Windy Hill, Kennesaw, Mapleton, and Austell. Residents who are renters pay more than 50% of their household income on rent. There's anywhere from the communities that I named, the community could be anywhere from 30% a rental community or up to 55% in some communities being mostly renters. Renters here in Cobb County, only about 20% of those renters here in Cobb County receive any form of government assistance in Section 8 vouchers or other forms of assistance. Cobb County Magistrate Court, which handles evictions, about 3 weeks ago, we're seeing 100 cases in one day. Evictions for our families come fast, especially from apartment complexes that are owned by corporate landlords. If you do not have your rent by the 15th of the month, they're filing evictions, which is adding another $150 to your already enormous rent. And then you're giving 7 days from the time that you appear in court to have the money. So oftentimes what happens is some families have to move because they can't come up with $1,000 or maybe $1,500, in some cases $2,800 at one time. So they end up moving. And then when you move, you're moving to even more a place that maybe have less amenities. And sometimes you may know of that place as being a rundown community. Well, that's what happens because families want to reside in maybe the same school district or school, so that's what's happening. So in order for us to stabilize our schools, we have to try to find a way to stabilize our communities. Building coalitions with nonprofits called workforce development, addressing the extreme low-income housing. I know you recommended for me to talk to Ron, but that was addressing households that received at least $40,000 in yearly salaries. What we have here in Cobb is you have people that's working for maybe the Brave Stadium, that's working for Whitewater, that's working for Six Flags Amusement Park, even working for Cumberland Mall or some of your warehouses that's making below $20,000 a year. So you really don't have housing here that's based on that salary, which means that you would pay no more than $600 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment, okay? So like I said, we need to work on building these, making these coalitions stronger. And also, I do want to add that my organization, which is We Thrive in Riverside Rental Association, will be hosting a neighborhood summit December the 10th through the 16th, where the theme this year will be housing and transportation. Thank you very much.
Right.
Monica, wait, before you go back, I just want to kind of tell you some stuff that's going on. Michael Murphy and I met with a group that actually got their start here in Cobb. Over in East Cobb, they took an apartment complex in the Brumby School District, helped turn the school around by turning the apartment complex around. They built their model, which they have now taken to some other parts in the metro area, and we are working with them on bringing them back into Cobb. They want to come back into Cobb to bring the model back here to Cobb, which addresses exactly what you're talking about, because they can show how if you have a failed school, you can trace it back to a failed or a bad performing apartment complex and vice versa. And so what they do, they come in and they purchase the complex and they work with the community, improve the complex. They have rents that are affordable in the range that you're talking about. And the consequence that they see and we saw over at Brumby was the school improves. So Michael and I are working on getting them back.
Good deal. Thank you.
The next speaker is Randall Bedgood.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Randall Bedgood, and I live in West Cobb. First off, Commissioner Chairman, I'd like to commend you. You've had a really tough job, and you've done, in my opinion, an outstanding job with what you've got to work with. There's a guy up in Habersham County that's probably gets a big laugh every time he looks at what kind of problems y'all are going through. Things I want to talk about is about the budget. I was at the first budget hearing, and I got up here and I supported the millage increase. I came to the second hearing, I didn't speak. The thing that amazed me about the second hearing was the amount of folks that were up here asking for my tax dollars. I know that you only got so much money to work with. I wish those folks were up here whenever you were asking for a millage rate increase. I didn't see that many of them here. The first thing I want to talk about is about the budget. Is you need to look out after your troops. Anybody that's been in the military knows that if you're gonna, you got to look out after your troops. And I don't think y'all have done a good job of doing that. When I talk about the troops now, I know that you've had the class and pay study, and those folks got some money, and I know the public safety people got some money. But how about the people that didn't get any money? I didn't hear anybody stand up and speak for them. You've got a lot of good employees in this county that do a good job every day and come to work every day. And they deserve a little pay raise. I mean, somebody, I would feel good if I got a 1 or 2% pay raise if everybody else is getting one, And you really need to look out after your troops. The other thing I want to talk about is you were talking about how to save money with the county, about duplicate services and all that kind of stuff. I'm one of the few people that think that you should pay your own way. I think user fees are great. Everything I do, just about, I have to pay for. If I go to a state park, I have to pay a fee. Any other kind of recreational stuff I do, I have to pay for it. Now, we got a lot of county parks. We got some good county parks. We got some good green space parks. And I don't see anything wrong with charging a user fee for them. I don't see anything at all charging somebody $1 to go to the park, or if they want to buy an annual pass for $15 or $20. I don't see a thing wrong with that. People in this county, the most of them can afford that, And the other thing I want to talk about is the Braves. I know there's not anything we can do about the Braves, and I've talked to y'all one time before about this, and I know I probably won't get any support at all for it. But I think there will be $1 added to every Braves ticket. And not only the Braves ticket, but every event that's in that stadium ought to have $1 added to it. That's not a lot of money, and people going there, they can afford it. If you want to put it on the ticket as a user fee for this trust fund you're going to set up, that's great. You could pay for that. I read in the paper where the Braves this past season had 2,505,000, and I had it here in Marietta Daily Journal had it. Anyway, it had, how many attendance they had this year. If you got $1 right there, that would set your trust fund up. You wouldn't have to worry about taking it out of the general fund. But if you do that, or if you set the trust fund up, you better make sure you lock that money up, because you see what's happening right now with things that have been put in contingency, and we've come back and robbed them. And that wasn't the right thing to do. That money should have stayed where it was at. We should have had a millage increase to meet the budget, and that's the way things should be operated. The other thing I want to talk about is the bus service. I heard a gentleman up here today. I'll probably run out of time before I get through with this, but I had a gentleman up here the other day when he was talking about wanting money for things, And he talked about the bus service, and he talked about something I had never heard of, was the flex ride system. I looked that up on y'all's website. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. You send a bus out to somebody's house to pick them up and take them to either their destination or to a CCT Route 30 for $2.50. And the guy said right up here and told you, he said it takes anywhere from $35 to $40 to send the people out there to get those people. That's crazy. And the other thing is,
Sir?
Yes,
Okay, you got your time, but your points are well made, and I can assure you, we're addressing many of those, particularly when we do the retreat next month. So your comments are being heard, and I can assure you we'll be addressing most, if not all of them, most of them in the next couple of months. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
The next speaker is David Birkenbein.
Good evening, Chairman Boyce, Commissioners, County Manager. David Birkenbein, Medical Burn Ban. To the government, this medical burn ban seems to be a tough subject. Of all the complicated things I've seen being done to get sick people, their law getting enforced properly is mind-boggling to me. It's simple. 1, fire burning. 2, medical burn ban. 3, put it out. For people with severely affecting sick people, fire chief already told you that the commissioner just tell me what I need to do and it'll be enforced. Well, it's already on the book, so we don't need to change nothing. We don't need to change times. We don't need to add permits. Everything's there. And it's stated many, many times. So, how can it get any simpler than that? Most laws are enforced on their merit. I can't drive while I'm drunk. Oh, wait, yeah, you can. You got a permit, you can do that. Or you can do it between 1 and 6. I can't shoot my gun in public. I can't go out and assault somebody. I can't pick a date or a time or go get a permit. I want to go assault somebody. I want to shoot my gun in town. These fires are just like shooting a gun at a person. I don't care who you are. It's just like shooting a gun at the person. It affects the people. That's what we don't understand. We have in our mind by watching these commercials about COPD and breathing, Brio and this and that, it's just, and oh, I'm all well, grandpa's running around and grandma's got her air purifier on her or air generator on her, and it don't work like that. It's a nasty, nasty disease and they need help. The fire marshal, the reason I'm up here is because the fire marshal sent me up here. He said, if you want to change the law, go see the board. Well, I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I'll still be here until we actually start talking about it or do something. I'm also the messenger and the recipient of bad enforcement of the law based on an interpretation, somebody's interpretation of the law that's been ingrained ever since 2006. Whenever a fire marshal decided she wanted a medical burn ban, everybody went, oh, we can't have that. It's going to be total burn ban. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. And thousands of people come up here and attack the board and attack the commissioners, telling them how unfair this was. Now, I hear, and thank you, Commissioner, that 911 has a list of the medical burn people. Maybe we can start gauging now what the actual calls are on medical burn ban people instead of being thrown in with outdoor burning. But I've walked the walk, and I have totally earned the right to talk the talk. October 1st is open burning season again, so we're getting ready for that. November 2017 is COPD Awareness Month. It's proclaimed by the U.S. government and the state of Georgia. This was done back in 2003, and it was back in the infancy when the disease was first being brought out. So I'm closing by not telling the fire chief how to enforce with laws already on the books. You have hurt me, my family, and all the families that are a red dot on this map. They rely on an action from a 5-star commission board that you say you are. Thank you.
The next speaker is Stephen Imler.
Good evening. My name is Steve Imler. I live in Marietta. I've lived in Cobb County 43 years, and I want to talk about a cause. But I've never come down in 43 years, so this tells you how important it is to me. It has to do with the grants to charities that you all have considered and will consider again further. But before I do that, I want to tell you how important and touching it is to me to be here to watch you listen attentively, engage with people who are here making great comments. And I think it's just a great thing to witness civics in practice. So I commend you for what you do and your openness and your listening to people with what matters to them. Well, what matters to me tonight is to come down and add to voices you've already heard just 2 weeks ago or so. You were very patient. You heard a lot of nonprofits come and speak about what they do, make a case for support that you have provided in the past, and you will consider some more of that going forward in October. And I encourage you to continue to do that. I am speaking as a person who has been in Cobb County 43 years, as I said. For the first 23 years, I was in business. It was about me, it was about my life and having a good time and making a difference as an employer. But since I retired and moved to Marietta, I've been involved with the nonprofit world and basically giving back and finding a way to do that. Individually, I've been on several boards in the past. I serve on 4 now. It includes 2 of the arts, an animal organization, and the community foundation, the Cobb Community Foundation, which involves people. And I've been involved with all those for several years. In particular for the Cobb Community Foundation, the impact grants. And some of you have been to the annual luncheon and the award ceremonies that go on. I think it's 30 nonprofits get an award of $5,000 to $10,000. And most of these are small local nonprofits. They may be chapters of larger organizations, but they come up with an idea, they support it, they make a difference with tens of thousands of people's lives every year. I think the total number over 3 years is hundreds of thousands of people. And your support in the past has made a big difference. And there are people who are individuals in these nonprofits. There's people like me doing their own thing. There are employees and volunteers for these nonprofits who are trying to make Cobb all it is that makes me not imagine living anywhere else, really. And so me and the other organizations are doing their part, and if you can consider to continue funding as you have in the past, whatever the way it's done. I'm also a fiscal conservative. I believe in a balanced budget. I believe you have to make hard choices, and I know you do. And some things you just have to try to work out. This is one I'd like to find if you could, because it makes such a big difference to people in this community who cannot otherwise have the life and the quality of life that others may enjoy, or they could enjoy more if you were able to support them going forward in the future. And I'd ask you for your consideration. Thank you very much.
The next speaker is Dwayne Rose.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Dwayne Rose. I live in Austell. I have a very simple request. So simple, in fact, I'm sure most people in the room are going to wonder and say to themselves, really? You had to come all the way down here to ask for that? I live in the subdivision of Sweetwater Plantation, which is juxtaposed to Garrett Middle School, and betwixt two other subdivisions, mostly Chase and the newly formed Curitan Woods. My home's inspection is dated for 1995. I've been in the house now since 2000. Not once has the county been out there to pave our roads. Not one time. That's over a 20-year period. We have endured not one, at the risk of sounding antediluvian. The theologians in the room will know what I mean. Do you all remember the year of the Great Flood? I believe that was 07, was it? 2009? Yeah. I witnessed as my neighbors' homes were completely, toward the back end of our subdivision, completely submerged, underwater, rooftops covered. And the worst part about that is that wasn't the first time. We had another flood, well, I think it was 04. It wasn't nearly as bad, but I can tell you this, I remember what the roads looked like before the Great Flood, and I know what they look like now. Can a brother get his streets paved? That's all I want.
Okay. Do you live?
Your honors.
Do you live in the city?
I live in Cobb County. I pay taxes to Cobb County.
And this is a development, or is it?
It's a subdivision.
All right. So hold on. We're gonna address you tonight. Okay. You're not gonna leave here without an answer. Is Jim Wilgus here? Okay. And because we need to get the details here, so I can make sure you leave here with an answer.
Well, I can tell you, I've been chasing this dream for 5 years now.
Well, I just got here.
Okay. I understand.
I ran as fast as I could. All right. Yeah, we need to find out because I'm kind of curious about this, because we have a very, very robust paving program here using SPLOST dollars. And so I think what I need to do here is I need to have you sit down with Mr. Wilgus before you leave tonight. He's our DOT director. He's in charge of all the paving programs we have here. And I want you to give him the streets where you are, and we want to see if this is something that qualifies for county funding or not. Because if you live in a development, it may not.
It does qualify.
Okay. Well, what that?
Christian Orton.
Okay, that's fine.
Knows my name very well. I've already been talking with those people down there at the DOT to no avail.
Well, here's the boss.
May I approach, your honors, may I approach the bench?
No, you can't. I'm sorry.
I've got something, a
No,
present
just
for
give him-
all 5 of you.
Okay, you can do that.
It's
You can do
gotten
that.
to this point now where I have a petition. All of my neighbors, save 2, have
All right.
signed that petition.
There's the man right there. He's going to tell me tomorrow morning what the answer is, okay? And then you have my phone number, all right? Everyone has my phone number. You have my email address.
I appreciate you
all
all.
right? And I will
Commissioner
follow up on
Cupid,
this
I
tomorrow.
appreciate you, but you're only 20% of the influence here. We need your help. Can y'all help her do her job? Thank you.
Amen.
That's all I want.
Amen.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
Good to meet you.
Do you want me to go ahead and tell you what the story is on this? Because
No,
I know it all.
Okay, all right.
All right.
does his subdivision need to be resurfaced? Absolutely.
Okay.
As you know, the amount of resurfacing that we do every year is about half of what we need to do.
Okay.
So we also always try to do it on the worst first, and there are worse than his subdivision. So right now, it looks like his subdivision will be on the 2018 list. 2017's already done and already in place.
All right.
So it looks like it'll be on the 2018 list.
So do you have a rough date in 2018?
We'll bid those out at the end of the year.
End of 2018?
No, it's of this year.
Oh, okay.
It's the year that the resurfacing would happen would be 2018.
All right. All right. It's a bad answer, but it's an answer where you're going to get your street paved by next year. All right. And the answer is also, you could have just called me and I would have run this down for you. I'm just trying to tell you here that, all right, I get your point. You have a legitimate one, but we're also, as I'm doing the budget process here, we're going to even pave even less roads with this SPLOST than we did with the previous one. So this is an issue that's not just going to be yours unilaterally. It is going to be one that's going to be manifested throughout the county for the next 5 years. But I appreciate your point. Yeah, we're going to have an answer for you here. We're going to pave your road next year. I wish it could be sooner, but the bottom line is that we have, a process. We have to vote on it. But there's no doubt in my mind. You're here tonight. You heard it. It's on video. It's on television. Your road will be paved next year. Okay.
The next speaker is Guinevere Reed.
Okay, is this thing on? Hey, hi, how are you? Nice to see everyone today. Hello, Cobb County Commissioners, citizens, usual suspects, and community advocates and leaders. We're back again after 30 days about our concerns. We, as a group of concerned community leaders, advocates, grassroots nonprofits, who are a bit perturbed about the CDBG grant and funding process of Cobb County. We believe that the overseers who are currently over the Community Development Block Grant Program are not acting in a fair and equitable standard. We are writing to oppose and demand a cease and desist moratorium orders be placed immediately on the Cobb County CDBG 2017 to 2018 recommendation, practices, policy, procedures, and that the process of funding to selected nonprofits, businesses stop. We request for the 2017 and 2018 recommendations for funding to be reviewed again by Cobb County Commissioners and other nonpartisan review committee that will include representation and input from the new grassroots community, which are ourselves. We feel some of the status quo businesses have been receiving grant money every year for 10 to 30 years and not allowing other small businesses to be given a chance to get established, expand, or become sustainable and viable in Cobb County. We request a meeting with the Cobb County Commissioner to investigate and discuss the CDBG agencies that are involved with these recommendations, practices, policy, procedures, and processes of funding to the same nonprofit businesses in the Cobb County area. We also request the disparity and disenfranchisement of the CDBG current practices, policy, procedure, and processes of funding to the community nonprofit businesses and applications be reviewed, rewritten, including clear written guidelines. We require fair and balanced decision be made before any funds are distributed for this fiscal award cycle of 2017-2018. And we're still waiting for that meeting with you guys. So you're going to address my issue tonight?
Well, I saw your email about the meeting, and I'm having to work that because now we're getting into some legal issues, and we got to be careful here. So the bottom line is we're not ignoring you. We have to get all our ducks in a row here before we have the meeting.
Okay, great. I haven't heard anything. I got a correspondence, so that's why I'm here again.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. I did ask. Let's just say that I'll have an answer for you tomorrow about what our way forward is. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You have a great evening.
You too. Thanks.
You had one additional speaker sign up. Would you like to take that speaker now? Amy?
First off, my name is Amy Barnes. I live in Marietta, Georgia. Tonight, I'm absolutely impressed that that officer up front knows some sign language. Wow. I wanted to speak tonight in appreciation of Chief Register because I believe that he has been unfairly burdened by some of the things that have happened under his predecessor. And I would like to make note of the fact that I've seen some changes in behaviors of Cobb County police officers, much more pleasant in dealing with people. And the fact that Chief Register has taken a very difficult step in addressing a call for accountability, I'm thoroughly impressed. This is not something that we see anywhere in this nation, and I just wanted to give to him my thanks on the public record tonight. Because when we talk about accountability, the change has to happen on both sides of the coin. Both the citizens need to change a little bit, and the police department together needs to work together to initiate changes. I have seen a number of issues come forth from the community, but at this point with Chief Register coming on board, I can see a bright light. I can see by way of his action in proactively handling the situation with a police officer's mistaken statement. So I wanted to say I deeply appreciate Chief Register coming on board, and I deeply appreciate seeing him reach out and address what the community has sought to see changed. So I just wanted to say thank you very much, and if he's here tonight, thank you, Chief Register.
Okay. Let's have my tab 7. Okay, we're doing a tab 6 consent agenda, and I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as revised. You have a second? I got to finish the statement here though first. Yeah. And that the authorized execution of necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0. Okay, so now we're going to tab 7.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners, Mr. County Manager. We have 4 items tonight. The first item is to approve change order number 1 to the contract with C.W. Matthews Contracting Company, Inc. for construction of school zone safety and operational improvements at Pope High School, Hembry Road. Pope High School, Hembry Road is an approved school zone safety and operational improvement project in the 2005 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program. Change order number 1 to the contract with C.W. Matthews Contracting Company, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $15,000 is requested for additional costs associated with unforeseen sewer work required, which exceeded the current utility allowance line item budget. We request the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 1 to the contract with C.W. Matthews Contracting Company, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $15,000 for construction of school zone safety and operational improvements at Pope High School, Hembry Road.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
A second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir. Item number 2 is to authorize procurement of demolition and removal services for 3 mobile homes on Beach Road, West Side Drive. Beach Road, West Side Drive is an approved project in the roadway improvements component of the 2016 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program. The low quote of $32,400 from Southern Demolition and Environmental was reviewed and found to be reasonable and responsive. The completion date for this project is 45 consecutive days from the issuance of the notice to proceed. We request the Board of Commissioners authorize procurement of demolition and removal services in an amount not to exceed $32,400 from Southern Demolition and Environmental for 3 mobile homes on Beach Road, West Side Drive.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
Have a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir. Item number 3 is to approve supplemental agreement number 2 to the resurfacing contract 2017-1 countywide major thoroughfares local maintenance and improvement grant with Baldwin Paving Company, Inc. for high-friction surface treatment on portions of County Line Road, Old Stylesboro Road, and Windy Hill Road. Resurfacing is an approved component of the 2016 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program. The department has been notified that GDOT has approved additional LMIG funding for 3 of the safety action projects requested in an amount not to exceed $200,000. As proposed, funding has been designated for high-friction surface treatment on portions of County Line Road, Old Stylesboro Road, and Windy Hill Road. We request the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 2 to the resurfacing contract 2017-1 countywide major thoroughfares local maintenance and improvement grant with Baldwin Paving Company, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $289,040.57 for high-friction surface treatment on portions of County Line Road, Old Stylesboro Road, and Windy Hill Road.
Commissioner Weatherford.
Thank you. Director, could you briefly explain what high friction means real quick?
What high friction is on particularly steep or curvy roads. What we do is we add a higher friction surface to the top of the road. You'll see it if you drive down on East Callaway Drive, you'll see a section in there where the curves are really steep, where the road's a different color. This allows cars to be more stable on that surface.
Good, thank you. I just wanted the public to know. Motion approved as presented.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir. Our final item is to approve supplemental agreement number 2 to the consultant services agreement with Heath and Linebeck Engineers, Inc. for additional engineering design services of Interstate North Parkway at Interstate North Circle. Interstate North Parkway at Interstate North Circle is an approved project in the thoroughfare improvements component of the 2011 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program. Supplemental agreement number 2 to the CSA with Heath and Linebeck is requested to provide revised construction plans for this project to include 2 northbound lanes on Interstate North Parkway from Interstate North Circle South to Interstate North Circle North. We request the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 2 to the consultant services agreement with Heath and Linebeck Engineers, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $42,949.24 for additional engineering design services of Interstate North Parkway at Interstate North Circle.
Commissioner Ott.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, sir.
And now we're going on to tab 8.
Chairman, Commissioners, County Manager. We have 2 items today. The first item is to authorize the appropriation of fund balance in the general fund in support of the Cobb Judicial Circuit District Attorney, which provided child support services to the citizens of Cobb County for the program year FY17. We've had impact in their due to the paying class, which have required more money from the general fund in order to balance that grant fund unit. The FY18 future funding has already been addressed with the agenda item the board approved on August 8th of 2017. So future funding for the implementation of the paying class and accommodating that has already been taken care of. So with that, and to more accurately reflect that, I would like to recommend one change to the funding statement. There was an error in the code. The first line reads transfer from, and it is in 4980. To more accurately reflect that that is a transfer from the paying class amount, we'd like to change that to 8852. And so with that, we would like to recommend that the Board of Commissioners authorize the appropriation of fund balance in the general fund in the amount of $23,737.63 for the child support grant that ended June 30th, 2017, authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Weatherford.
Thank you. Motion to approve as revised.
Have a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0.
Thank you. Second item tonight is to authorize the creation of the Stadium Capital Maintenance Trust Fund, approve the transfer of previously approved reserve funds from the general fund to the new fund. Previously this year, during the reserve agenda item that was passed on January 1, the board appropriated $1.2 million for funding of the first year of the Capital Maintenance Trust Fund. The Braves have also contributed both $600,000 installment, one in May, one in July, for their $1.2 million of the FY17 contribution of the trust fund. The stadium operating agreement stipulates that we make annual contributions from now for the next 30 years to handle any major capital replacements at the stadium or the stadium site. With that, we'd like to approve the creation of the the trust fund, in addition to move those funds from the general fund into the capital maintenance fund. So our recommendation is that the Board of Commissioners authorize the creation of the Stadium Capital Maintenance Trust Fund, approve the transfer of the previously approved reserve funds in the amount of $1.2 million from the general fund to the new fund, authorize the corresponding budget and accounting adjustments to record the contributions and payments within the new fund, and further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Ott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just kind of some notes. There was some confusion in an article in the paper this morning. I'm not going to say by who. Basically, this was conceived in the very beginning, and what happened was the Cumberland Special Service District, the money was collected prior to the stadium being completed, and that was collected and put aside for this purpose. And when the negotiations were going on, this was originally an open-ended item where it was going to be a 50-50 split with the Braves. And what was negotiated and changed in the original agreement was that it would be 50-50 split to a maximum of $35 million for the county. And that number comes from the fact that the county was told that in the foreseeable future that there would be an estimate of $70 million at most in improvements over a 30-year period to the stadium. So that was agreed upon at 35. I brought it up because at the time we were told that Turner Field was going to need $200 million. So the first thing about this is that the county's portion is capped at $35 million. The commissioners did anticipate it, started collecting the Cumberland Special Service District money at the very beginning, put it aside. So some of the agenda items you saw transferred it from where it had been put aside to the general fund, and now it's being transferred to a trust fund. Now, to address your concern before, in the agreements, it specifies that the board is not allowed in the future to take the money out and use it for anything else. It can only be used in agreement between both the Braves and the county for capital improvements to the stadium, HVAC, seats, scoreboards, things like that. It's very specified, very controlled money, so future boards cannot take this money and use it for some other purpose. The county's portion at this rate, the county's $35 million is put aside in the first 10 years. So after 10 years, the county's done putting money into this trust fund. So it is a very structured, controlled, and thought out in the very beginning. So hopefully that answers your questions. Motion to approve.
Second, any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, then we've already had everyone to address the board, so we'll go on to tab 10. And Commissioner Cupid, you have the first appointment.
I move that we appoint Maxwell Rose to the Public Library Board of Trustees.
Second. Second, any discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0. Sorry, passes 5-0. And then I make a motion to approve the reappointment of Demi Bass on the Cherokee Cobb Joint Development Authority. You have a second? Discussion? Call the question. Passes 5-0. And tonight, I'll start with Commissioner Cupid.
I'm going to have to defer, Chairman, while I go into
Sure.
this paper and look at my notes.
Okay, you want me to start the other end? Come back?
Please, yeah.
Commissioner Ott.
Okay, she might have already left, but if she's not, I want to start off, and I just want to recognize, like I said, she might have just left, Latonia Hines. She's kind of, oh, is she out there? Bring her back in. She's going to hate me for this, but that's okay. All right, while we're waiting on that, at the last meeting, I mentioned about the Great Atlanta Beer Fest, and I'm sure Commissioner Weatherford does not still have on his beer socks, but just as a reminder, it is on October 7th at the SunTrust Park from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 150 plus beers and ciders, 25 wines. But what I'm adding tonight, oh, hold on. What I'm adding tonight is that on November 4th, Commissioner Weatherford's going to have his own beer fest in the city of Ackworth. He's going to wear the socks. So if you can't make the one at SunTrust Park on October 7th, you can come to the city of Ackworth for the Great Ackworth Beer Fest on November 4th. And he'll be in his beer socks. So if you didn't see him on Friday, come on November 4th. Latonia, you're going to be really embarrassed, but What I want everybody to know here, this lady right here normally would be standing here in front of the judge trying to prosecute people that violate our rules. But what she has done with the restaurant owners and the business owners over at the Battery, she and I meet with them once every other month to teach them how to keep people from getting themselves in trouble. We go over the fake IDs, we go over things that she reads about on Facebook. She has traveled all over this country finding out best practices to keep not only you that don't go over to the Battery to cause trouble, but the ones that go over and end up getting themselves in trouble. And so I just wanted to kind of give her a shout out for the great job that she has done in helping people take care of themselves. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to do the job. Thank you very much.
And finally, speaking of SunTrust Park, those of you that have gone over there during the baseball season that just concluded knows that the great traffic transportation scare never happened. Just like when the Olympics, you can go over to a game, there wasn't a lot of traffic, and that was the result mainly of a single person who designed the traffic plan in coordination with our public safety, and that's Lieutenant J.D. Lawrence. Now, he's not here, but he pretty much single-handedly, working with all public safety and the Braves and everyone else, kind of worked to work out this transportation plan. And he's out there almost every game. Every now and then he takes his wife to a game, but he's out there. And so the lack of traffic that you see really is a tremendous credit to Lieutenant Lawrence and the great job that he did. So just a shout out. And that's all I have.
Thank you. This Saturday at Town Center Mall from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. is the Truckapalooza. Come out and explore police helicopters, fire rescue trucks, police cars, SWAT trucks, military vehicles, heavy construction vehicles, and best of all, the proceeds benefit our Cobb County Safety Village. The ribbon cutting for Aviation Park is been rescheduled to November 10th. It was originally scheduled the 12th of October, but due to some weather delays, it's now November 10th at 10 a.m. I'd like to thank the Library Foundation for hosting us at their annual gala Friday night. It was well attended and great silent auction items, and we appreciate everyone's attendance, and it was a huge success to raise money for our libraries. And Saturday night, I'd like to thank Governor and Marie Barnes for hosting the annual 4-H gala at their home, their lovely home in Marietta. And we had a great performance from Rebecca, one of the 4-H'ers on fencing. Amazing 14-year-old. Great presentation. So thank you to the 4-H and Extension. And October 7th, Saturday, October 7th at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, they will be celebrating their annual Oktoberfest from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that is a benefit for Must Ministries. And last but not least, I have announced this before, but I have a program that I started last year to pair shelter animals from Cobb County Animal Shelter, dogs or cats, with our veterans. And you get free adoptions if you're a veteran and have served our country. You can adopt a dog or a cat free of charge. They come fully vetted with their shots, they're spayed or neutered, and they're microchipped. So before the meeting, Captain Owens, who is he still here? He's gone. Who runs our Cobb County Animal Shelter, told me that they received 2 beautiful American Bulldog males today, and they are available for adoption. So I'm giving our veterans first dibs. If you'd like to go to the animal shelter, fill out a form. You can get both they're brothers, so they can stay together. But, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of rescue groups, and Steve, you may go get one or two. So be sure and go to the animal shelter and check out all the dogs, but you might want a pair of bulldogs. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Weatherford?
Thank you. It's been a great night, especially thanking, congratulating our public safety, and I think we all now have a better perception of what our men and women do for us every day. And sometimes they go above and beyond, and I wanted to show a short video of one of those instances. This is Officer Wayne Howard.
Well, hello, my name's Officer Howard. I talked to you on the phone. How are you?
It wasn't a visit she was planning to receive, but after finding out some shocking news, it was a visit that couldn't come soon enough.
I don't know how to put it in words, baby. I don't know how to put it in words, but I just knew the people were saying it because they had his name. They told me who put him in the box. And my address where I lived at the time when he passed. Me and him were living together. The day the man called me, I felt like God had found me too. I've been alone ever since my family died. I got no children, I got no husband, nobody but me now. And I'm getting my brother and my mama back together again by the help of the people from Cobb County. And I appreciate everything they did.
He found ashes and took it upon himself to return them. They were on the side of the road, and they think them in there maybe a decade, and located the family and took it upon himself to deliver them. So another great example of going above and beyond what they do. So thank you, Officer Howard. Thank you, Public Safety. And finally, on a personal note, I want to thank the members of the board here. We've had some rough weeks working together, working hard, and everyone's done a lot of work that you don't realize sometimes. And budgeting and the affairs of the county are not easy, but I can tell you one thing. I've never been prouder to be associated with a group of people that are up here on this board. And the other point is, we may not always agree, and that's the whole purpose of having 5 people, is that we all have different points of view. But at the end of the day, we all work together to do what's best for this county. So I'm honored to be here, and I want to thank all of you as well. So thank you.
Those kind words. Thank you. Commissioner Cupid.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Commissioner Weatherford. Just want to address David Birkenbein, who has been coming to several of our meetings. There was a past meeting where I provided I would support looking at how we can modify that ordinance, and just wanted to let you know the timeline for that would be in February of next year, because that would be the next time we assess that. There are a lot of meetings between now and then, but just want you to know that we will take a look at what we can do to address some of the concerns you've been bringing to our attention. Yeah. I have a newsletter that goes out, and you can sign up for it at cobbcounty.org/Cupid. There are a number of events going on. Just want to bring a couple to the audience's attention. We have our Austell Road Corridor Study, which is underway, and the next meeting for that will be this Thursday, September 28th at the Wellstar Cobb Hospital. And just would encourage you to tell your neighbors to come out and be a part of that study. Next, I have a town hall meeting, and that will be next week, Wednesday, October 3rd, at the Austell Thread Mill Complex at 7 p.m. and invite members of the public to please come and attend. We will have juvenile court with us to talk about some of their programming as it impacts or addresses gangs here in Cobb County. So just would love for you to come out and learn a little bit more about how we can address that issue. That's all the comments that I have tonight, Chairman.
Commissioner, with that, we're in adjournment.
Bye.